The king said, "Take him to it." So they took Haman to the pole he had set up for Mordecai. After that, the king's fury subsided. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, and Mordecai came into the king's presence, for Esther had told how he was related to her. The king took off his signet ring, which he had reclaimed from Haman, and presented it to Mordecai. Esther appointed him over Haman's estate. Esther again pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping. She begged him to put an end to Haman's evil plan. Then the king extended the gold scepter to Esther, and she stood before him. "If it pleases the king," she said, "and if he regards me with favor, let an order be written overruling the dispatches that Haman devised and wrote to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces. For how can I bear to see disaster fall on my people?" King Xerxes replied, "Because Haman attacked the Jews, I have given his estate to Esther. Now write another decree in the king's name in behalf of the Jews, as seems best to you, and seal it with the king's signet ring. For no document written in the king's name and sealed with his ring can be revoked." At once the royal secretaries were summoned. They wrote out all Mordecai's orders to the Jews and to the nobles of the 127 provinces. Mordecai wrote in the name of King Xerxes, sealed the dispatches with the king's signet ring, and sent them by mounted couriers. The king's edict granted the Jews the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy any armed force that might attack them. The day appointed for the Jews to do this was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. The couriers went out spurred on by the king's command, and the edict was issued in the citadel of Susa. When Mordecai left the king's presence, he was wearing royal garments of blue and white, a large crown of gold, and a purple robe, and the city of Susa held a joyous celebration. For the Jews it was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. On the 13th day of the 12th month, the edict was to be carried out. On this day, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them, but the tables were turned and the Jews got the upper hand. The Jews assembled in their cities and attacked those who sought to destroy them. No one could stand against them for fear of the Jews had seized all the people. In the citadel of Susa, the Jews killed 500 men. They also killed the 10 sons of Haman, but they did not lay their hands on the plunder. The number of those killed in the citadel of Susa was reported to the king that same day. The king said to Queen Esther, "The Jews have killed 500 men, and the 10 sons of Haman in the citadel of Susa. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is your petition?" "It will be given you," Esther answered. "Give the Jews in Susa permission to carry out this day's edict tomorrow also, and let Haman's 10 sons be put on just like their father.